Kuzangpo, a warm welcome to Bhutan This Week. My name is Samtin Dolkar. Our top stories this week. His Majesty the King returns to Phinsoling from Samdup Jongkhar. As an expression of solidarity, Bhutanese offer prayers for India to win over COVID-19. And Paro College of Education starts new qualitative selection system to attract excelling teacher candidates. His Majesty the King returned to Phinsoling on 12th May after a visit to Samdup Jongkhar. His Majesty was in Samdup Jongkhar to review measures to control the spread of COVID-19 in the Dzongkhar, which is under lockdown since May 6.
While in Samdup Jongkhar, His Majesty held meetings with the Eastern COVID-19 Task Force and the Samdup Jongkhar Dzongkhar Task Force. His Majesty visited the international border checkpost and other high-risk points under surveillance. His Majesty visited the Motanga Industrial Park, where works to build a new oxygen plant is being accelerated to meet the regional need for oxygen during the pandemic. His Majesty also visited the new 40-bedded Deothang Hospital, currently under construction. His Majesty the King also visited the Gelsung site at Pemathang and the site for the upcoming Desung National Service Water Project in Samdup Jongkhar. The water project is scheduled to start soon to build drinking water supply infrastructure for the people of the Thonde. Sunampem for BBS News.
The central monastic body along with the sacred relics arrived at their summer residence at the Tashichozong in Thimphu on Wednesday. The monk body led by the Dorjilebe departed from their winter residence, the Punakhadzong, from early morning on the same day. However, due to the ongoing pandemic, there were no blessings or gatherings allowed along the way. The trip was also completed in a day. The Prime Minister, along with parliamentarians and other senior officials, received the central monastic body and the sacred relics at the Tashichozong. The country is yet to receive the first consignment of COVID vaccines from the COVAX facility. This, according to the WHO, is due to Bhutan's delay in signing the indemnification agreement, which is a must to get vaccines from the COVAX facility. The COVAX is a worldwide initiative that was founded in April last year.
The COVAX started its first quarter distribution in February. So far, more than 54 million doses have been delivered to more than 120 countries. Bhutan signed the indemnification agreement and sent it to the Gavi COVAX facility on 16 April. The indemnification agreement is a document that deals with the liability or responsibility for adverse consequences from administering the vaccines. It is signed between the COVAX member countries and the manufacturer. While Bhutan is yet to receive the first shipment, some of the other member countries have already received the second quarter distribution of the vaccines. The WHO representative in Bhutan said it is understandable for Bhutan to take time in signing the agreement, as it is a prerogative of any country to ensure that any agreement will not have negative implications to the nation.
Due to some delays in the signing of these two documents, the earlier allocation is still there. But however, that vaccine is not, these vaccines are not freely available in the market. That means that the COVAX facility will again rearrange and reallocate, of course, with the same doses that has been allocated earlier.
He also shared gratitude towards India for giving the COVID vaccines and hopes that India will again support Bhutan for the second dose. Bhutan is expected to receive nearly 6,000 doses of the Pfizer and over 100,000 of the Oxford AstraZeneca from the COVAX facility. Kilidem for BBS News.
The National Referral Hospital has 1,200 oxygen cylinders in stock to make sure it doesn't run out of supply. This is in keeping with the increasing number of COVID-19 positive cases in the neighboring countries. Globally, the COVID-19 pandemic has increased global oxygen demand and made the delivery of oxygen supplies more urgent than ever.
The medical superintendent of the National Referral Hospital said From over 20 COVID-19 positive patients in the isolation ward in Thimphu today, none are on oxygen. He added in the event of an outbreak within the country, there is no problem with the supply of oxygen cylinders.
We have adequate oxygen cylinders which can be used to provide oxygen to the patients. In addition to cylinders, we also have around 26 oxygen concentrators. And also our oxygen comes from Pasaka, Peninsular. So it's not from India. So it's quite safe for us since the oxygen plant is within Bhutan.
The National Referral Hospital procures oxygen every 2 to 3 days from the 2 oxygen plants in Pasaka and Gelifu. The hospital uses 76 oxygen cylinders every day and approximately 7 million Newton worth of oxygen cylinders every year. Oxygen is an essential medicine used to care for patients at all levels of the healthcare system, including surgery, heart failure, pneumonia, and maternal and child care, among others. According to the WHO, 15% of COVID-19 patients require medical oxygen because of breathing difficulties. Sunampem for BBS News.
Now, as India battles the COVID-19 pandemic, thousands of lives are lost every day. It has become a global concern. And the least Bhutan, her closest neighbor, can do at this moment is offer prayers for India. And that is exactly what Bhutan is doing in a show of solidarity for an end to the pandemic.
Sounds of bells and drums echo in the valley. A prayer is offered for the sick and the lost loved ones in India. This is Selungpekar Buddhist Institute in Paro. People of Dogar Gyok offered 1,000 butter lamps and prayers here.
다 미투바 세미디 조응아체 상계치기 체니 세슈니라 다니 상계 디루시우답도 주보아치 당아치라 심인루다 세미루다 디스레 남스메게 편도제 체타베로 중성이
당아치라 두게 캄날루 가우치베디 베스로 쪼치베디 베스로 가야라 자가게 캅기로 가자라나 대 도람다드주 베디 여블레텐디게 병아차 미세차차 가야라게 하고해라 당아치라 쟁기 튕긴게 도람딘 가차게 남스메 베탐민도
다 자가게 캄날루 안숨치따마도 예트라비로 때 말랭아치기 두게 캄나 때 로람라 때 맹캅 아님 지나보다 때 디게까지 가서 좀이
때 침자 자가게 캄날루 남이 섭니다 기도 다kenga 나체 두니데 마도 레설레체 탄디베 디나츠니레 미시시디스 포 미두스 미탄사 따디보돌로 가잖아 이컬로 참아 지리 미탄도스 미탄사 탄디기베 땡아체 생비 즈마솔레 땡디기베 땡아라 카톨릭 고리스 탑치 세테베 슈닐라.
Similarly, Yumtile Chede also initiated prayers at Talo Sanga Chiling Sheda in Punakha today. More than 100 monks performed the prayer ceremony. This afternoon, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi tweeted saying he discussed the pandemic situation with his Bhutanese counterpart, the Prime Minister Dr. Lote Tshering. The Indian Prime Minister thanked Bhutan for the solidarity and prayers expressed by the leaders and people of Bhutan. For Bureau Reports, Sonamongdi, BBS News.
People in Paro are facing inconveniences in construction-related works and other developmental activities due to the Dzongkhag's new development project. Residents say they are facing several challenges due to the restrictions put in place by the Paro Valley Development Plan. The issue was also once again discussed in the recent Dzongkhag Tsoktu.
41-year-old Pelzong from Kichu in Lango Geok is a tour operator. But due to the pandemic, he has not been able to run his business. With the tourism sector currently down, he says he wanted to explore other areas of income. He decided to construct a sports facility on his half-acre land and started planning things out. However, the Paro Valley Development Plan put an end to his ideas.
Tourism present area na chubisema
I am told that my plot falls under the tourism intensive precinct. I don't understand how and why. We cannot cultivate anything on this land. My only option is to construct hotels, but at this moment, this is not possible. My project will benefit the community and youth with employment opportunities.
There are many others like Belzang who are upset with the project. At the recent DT, local leaders said there are several problems, one of which is not being able to convert wetland into dry land. Some of the Geok offices have been receiving around 20 land conversion applications every month.
After His Majesty granted the land ownership certificates, people have started giving plots to their children. However, it is inconvenient as we cannot convert wetland into dry land, even to construct our own homes. Currently, land conversion and developmental activities are not allowed in Parozonkak. This has caused a lot of inconvenience. We hope this will be lifted soon, or maybe they will allow construction works in areas which do not fall under the project.
Some families need to construct houses immediately to address family problems and financial inconveniences. Therefore, we are writing to MOWHS requesting to lift the restrictions to make it convenient for the people.
A review team from the Ministry of Works and Human Settlement also recently met with the GUBs.
They showed us a presentation and there were many changes made. But there are still a few more alterations that need to be made, such as regarding maintaining buffer zones near Laga, highway maintenance, and widening and conservation of wetlands, among others. We have requested them to relook into these.
The 20-year project was started in 2017. It is envisioned to conserve the significant cultural landscape of the valley and provide infrastructure for solid waste management, water supply and sewerage, among others. For Namgyongwa in Paro, Sringzam, PBS News.
The entertainment centers, along with tourism and travel-related businesses, will not have to renew their licenses until 2023. This is because of the impact of the pandemic on their businesses since the first COVID case in March last year. The Economic Affairs Ministry issued a notification last week.
No songs and dances have been performed in these entertainment centers since March last year. The entertainment centers and travel-related businesses continue to struggle. Paying high rents and no source of income are some of the main hardships they are facing today. And Dryangs pay 25,000 yutam every year for license renewal. There are some 200 Dryangs and karaokes in the country. And they don't have to pay that for 2 years now, but it comes with bittersweet circumstances.
It is a reason to feel happy. On the other hand, we feel that our businesses will remain closed till 2023, which is worrisome. Everybody knows that we are facing difficulty paying the rents, and there is not a single owner who has waived 100% of the rent. So we are still at a loss.
But he said the notification should have come earlier.
We feel that the ministry has delayed notifying the public since some of the license holders received calls from trade that they have to renew their licenses or else they will have to bear the penalties this year. So, most of them have renewed it. Therefore, we don't know whether that amount will be refunded or not.
The businesses were to open eventually, but increasing cases in the country and the region have changed the situation now.
for 2021, yes, some of them might have renewed in January, February, that renewal for 2021 will be treated as renewal for 2023, so that those who have already renewed will not have to again pay fees and renew in 2023. Same will be treated as for 2023 because we have already announced that for 2021 and 2022 we have deferred. Therefore, they should not worry, those who have renewed, it's good that they have renewed, but we will treat this renewal as renewal for 2023.
But if the situation improves and businesses resume before 2023, they will have to renew their licenses as usual. Kinsang Haden for BBS News.
Now, going by the recent survey report of the Bhutan Media Foundation, the number of hours that Bhutanese spend daily on social media could be a concern. Over 90% of the respondents shared that every day they spend almost 3 hours on various social media sites, and this is more than the daily global average of around 2.5 hours.
Social media reach is widespread in our workplaces, homes, schools, religious places, politics, and above all, our personal lives. According to the study, an average Bhutanese person holds 4 social media accounts, with Facebook, WeChat, and YouTube being the 3 most popular platforms. University graduates were found spending the most time on social media with almost 4 hours and 30 minutes every day. Regular employees and office goers spent 4 hours, and the unemployed spent 3 hours. Agriculture workers spent nearly 2 hours, and monks spent nearly 3 hours daily on social media. As per the report, social media is used for SLIME, which stands for sharing, learning, interacting, marketing, and entertainment.
Maybe watching Facebook, the Instagram news video.
I use Facebook and Instagram. I spent around 1 to 2 hours on Facebook and another 2 hours on Instagram. I think some youngsters even spend time on social media at the expense of family time.
Watching the social media, Facebook, the Instagram news.
I mostly use Facebook and Instagram. As a college student, we get to spend more time on social media. I spend over 2 to 3 hours every day, at times almost 6 hours. But I do know we should not share sensitive issues or contents.
Illicit posts to share news.
I am on social media sites for 2 to 3 hours every night, but not at a stretch. It is a waste of time. I see many young people waste their time on social media.
The report highlighted spam and indecent posts as the 2 most reported negative individual experiences on social media. Also, more than 50% of the respondents have little or no awareness of privacy and ethical issues.
We Bhutanese tend to use social media anonymously, so that is also a worrisome trend, I think. Social media has become a very powerful force in Bhutan, but mostly a socially destructive force due to the irresponsible use led by an increasing number of anonymous users.
Against such emerging trends, the Bhutan Media Foundation is developing social media literacy modules to educate and remind people the potential harm and responsible use of the platform.
Modules will comprise of contents based on their specific needs, on how to use social media responsibly, how to identify fake news, how to stay away from spam, and what to do, what not to do on social media platforms, how to stay away from cyberbullying.
The survey was conducted in all 20 districts with more than 1,200 respondents aged between 13 and 60 years. Representatives from 26 relevant government, private, and civil society organizations were also interviewed. Meanwhile, according to datareportal.com, an online digital data portal, as of January last year, some 430,000 Bhutanese are on social media. The number is only expected to increase alongside the nation's goal of going digital. But with this change, it is imperative an increased awareness on responsible use of social media also accompanies. This is Ringdan, BBS News.
Starting this year, admissions for Bachelor of Education or B.Ed will be carried out before the admissions for other programs in the RUB colleges. This, according to the Paro College of Education, is in line with the new qualitative selection system to attract high-performing high school graduates to consider teaching as their first choice. The college will also decrease its intake based on the Education Ministry's teacher requirement projection.
The college is currently conducting panel interviews for the 200 shortlisted candidates. The applicants will be assessed based on their communication skills, creativity and critical thinking, among others. Only 170 candidates will be selected. 100 will be admitted into the B.Ed primary programs and 70 into the B.Ed Zonka program. The college received an overwhelming number of applications from some 6,000 students for the 170 slots.
I
got 75% in class 12, but I opted to go for teaching instead of going for other options. This is because firstly I have my parents supporting me, and then secondly it has been my long time interest to join the teaching profession.
In class 12 I scored 75.75. I opted for teaching because basically we have a thought in community that teaching should be in last, like they keep teaching as in last option. So yeah, I wanted to change people's mind.
My percentage in 12th grade was 80.5, and I opted for teaching because it was like my ambition since I was in primary school, and if I get an opportunity here this time, it would be a dream come true for me.
According to the Paro College of Education, they want to change the practice of students keeping the teaching profession as the last resort.
No matter how good the curriculum that we have, or we might have the best infrastructure, but without quality teachers, the quality of education will be hampered. So our main goal is to attract quality high school graduates, not only in terms of academics, but also with strong character, who are passionate, who are highly motivated to become teachers.
Besides the implementation of the new qualitative selection system, the college has also proposed for systemic reforms to the Education Ministry.
In the first place, increasing their stipend while they're in the college for the 4-year training program. So that is one. And then second, currently we have this the system of RCSC examination, where each candidate has to sit this examination after their graduation. So we have proposed to RCSC that we could do away with this and make it guaranteed employment for these candidates.
Can you see figure 5.7? Yes!
The new system is expected to enhance the status of the teaching profession in the country. The 2019 pay hike made teachers the highest paid civil servants in the country. Sunampem for BBS News.
Given the worrying COVID-19 situation in the country, the Bhutan Olympic Committee will not approve any new tournaments to be organized until further notice. The announcement is in line with the recent notification from the Prime Minister's office cautioning the general public to be more careful.
The notification the BOC issued on Tuesday informed all national sports federations and sports associations to reschedule their tournament plans and programs. And for all the BOC-approved recreational games, training and tournaments so far, the organizers should strictly observe COVID-19 protocols during the events. Following this, yesterday, the Bhutan Football Federation decided to postpone its upcoming Bhutan Higher Secondary School Football Championship. The BOC had approved the tournament and was supposed to kick off from the end of this month.
Most of the other zone cocks where the school tournaments are going to be held are worried that if these tournaments will have carry the virus, the bigger crowd and all. So it's at the moment it's on hold. We didn't cancel it, but it's on hold. We'll look into the situation because we still have a time to conduct the tournament.
However, the BFF plans to conduct the tournament soon after the COVID-19 situation improves.
We are expecting the situation to get better in another 2-3 months. If the situation gets better and we get the approval from the Zonka Task Force, we are ready to roll.
Likewise, the BFF kept on hold its annual veteran and departmental tournaments due to the pandemic. Since sports tournaments resumed in the country in March this year, the BOC approved 6 tournaments to be conducted in Thimphu alone. This is Pasung Doji for BBS News.
Well, that's all we have for this week. Thanks for watching. Please do join us next time. For now, goodbye and stay safe.